we have a bit of a pandemic on our hands. I don't know if you've heard. And now we have an absolute economic disaster. You've heard that too. You've heard me talk about it extensively on this show. I warned about it in the beginning. So it's one thing to have your nation face hardship. We've faced hardship before. I've got news for you. We're going to face hardship again. That's the nature of life. You face it in your personal life. I face it in my personal life. However, it's one thing to face hardship. It's another thing to view every hardship as an opportunity. That is when it starts to get disgusting. And I understand that's partially just the nature of politics. The nature of politics is, this sucks, your life sucks, elect me, I'll make it better. Oh, you don't like that? You're right, it sucks. Your life sucks, elect me, I'll make it better. That's really every political platform ever, right? For the most part, right? So there's always part of that built in. But when you just nakedly can look at 100,000 people dead from a pandemic, almost 100,000, when you look at 40, 50, 60 million jobs lost, when you look at 100,000 businesses closed, absurd national debt, I mean, we are in a major, major crisis here. And you look at that and say to yourself, nice, this is going to work out well for me. Doesn't that give you a moment of pause? Doesn't that give you a moment where you look in the mirror and think to yourself, man, I'm not a great person. Here's Joe Biden.
From this pandemic, you can remake the world as it should be. To see COVID-19 as a force majeure that compels us to rewrite the social contract that's been scrambled by nature's fury and human failures. You can set the terms for an economy, healthcare system, education system, immigration system, and a justice system that uplifts more people of every race, gender, and generation. You can build a truly representative democracy with more facts than lies, less money and more people in the voting process. You can win the race against climate change by writing the laws and structures the deals that rally the rest of the world to build a safer, more resilient, and sustainable future.
Does that not creep you out? How can you stand up and say that? It's one thing is that you're Democrats. You're insane. I get that. Everything's about climate change and gender and race and all but black people here, but we have gay people here and these people. It's just a really weird way to divide up society and look at life. That's part of being a Democrat. I get all that. I'm not asking them to change who they are, but to think this pandemic is an opportunity of any kind to remake society. What? Wait, what? And that thing I just played for you there is hardly going to be played anywhere. Everyone's focusing on some idiotic racist thing Joe Biden said. That's the bigger deal. The bigger deal is, and he's not alone. I don't mean to just pick on Joe Biden. Look, that idiot Clyburn from California came out and said it at the very beginning of the pandemic. He came out and he's like, this is going to work out well. They come right out and say it, and it doesn't seem to creep anyone but me out. That's creepy. That is the equivalent to driving down the highway and seeing a big pileup on the left side of the road and thinking, oh, nice, that's a few people less in traffic. What? Do something different with yourself. Look in the mirror and do something different. Everything out there is not an opportunity. Everything out there can't be an opportunity, or you end up, if you do that for long enough, you end up with just an absolute soulless, meaningless existence. And now they're jumping off of this whole thing to try to campaign on it. And I understand it's going to be a campaign prop. Here's Biden again.
Imagine if we had that $2 trillion now as we go into, God willing, recovery, which is a long way away as I see it right now. The president's response to all this has cost lives and it's cost jobs. And the way to fix the economy is get public health response correct and structure economy. What we're doing now is upside down. The bigger you are, the faster you get the money. The smaller you are, you don't get the money. And taxes are to build back a better economy, boost it, create a middle class and create jobs, paycheck protection program, healthcare, confidence come back. Hey, look, I just think he's got this all backwards, but he doesn't seem to care much about it.
I don't even understand what he just said. And now the newest controversy is this. Well, it's not a controversy. Let's keep this in mind. Democrats are enjoying this. I mean, there's a reason we're calling this thing the Democrats' delight. It's really clear by now, right, that they're enjoying this. It's everything they've ever wanted. We got everyone on unemployment and the churches are closed. It's basically heaven for a Democrat. And Trump shows up in Michigan. He goes to Ford. He doesn't wear a mask because he's the president of the United States of America, and it looks terrible if the man wears a mask. And the media freaks out about it, and Michigan's attorney general had this to say.
But honestly, if he fails to wear a mask, he's going to be asked not to return to any enclosed facilities inside our state. And I know that Ford has asked him to do the same thing. But if we know that he's coming to our state and we know he's not going to follow the law, I think we're going to have to take action against any company or any facility that allows him inside those facilities and puts our workers at risk. We just simply can't afford it here in our state.
We're going to have to take action against anyone who allows him in. I hate to circle back to the same thing I just said about Biden, but do these people hear themselves now? Do you hear how these people talk? Who do you think you are? In what nation do you think you reside? And you could just blatantly threaten people with your government sword. We're coming for you unless you do what we say. Who do you people think you are? Oh, and Trump, he actually wore the mask when he was off camera. Now we know that. When he was in other parts of the plant, he actually wore the stinking mask. There's the president with the mask. I wish he'd never put it on at all. But when he was off camera, he put on the mask. He did what he was told. It's fine. It's all fine. Hey, thanks so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. You heard me. Like it, subscribe. You'll get a lot more of it and a lot more of me.